Well, let's head up into the garden and find a good spot to plant these. The area where we're going to put in our new potato bed. And I cleared the area. We had some old last season's crop, and now I'm going to amend the bed with compost and some supplements before we plant the potatoes. So with all the potatoes that we had, I figure we're going to be able to plant about 40 square feet. This is about 20, so it's about half, but it's a nice demonstration for me to show you how we do this. I just gauge an area, and I want to put about a ½ an inch to as much of an inch of compost on top of the area where I'm going to plant. So you can use your own homemade compost. Mine isn't quite ready, so I'll be using our new delivery of compost that we just got from American Soil Products. So potatoes like to grow in a somewhat acidic soil. And if you don't know the acidity of your soil, you may want to have a soil test done. But generally, if you have a lot of compost in your soil, it's either acidic or neutral. It should be fine. So this is the supplement mix that I like to use for almost all of my vegetables here in the vegetable garden. I use it's a mix of about 4 pounds of organic feather meals, ground up feathers, and then just a few handfuls of kelp. And kelp is really a nice supplement. Has all the micronutrients that is found in the ocean, and also some growth factors that tends to stimulate the rooting of your plants. So I probably won't use all of this, but I'll just give a nice sprinkle over this bed. Like this, and I'm going to come around. And the nice thing about the feather meal too is that it's a slow release. So it releases its nitrogen when the microbes in the soil digest it, and it'll last for 6 to 8 months in your soil. And you don't have to repeat an application. You just fertilize now when you plant. It took us a couple years of incorporating compost and working with the soil to get it to look like this.
Yeah, we have a separate video here on the channel about the soil, where Susan explains how to, how they managed to create such a beautiful, beautiful soil.
Mm-hmm. Our cut potato tubers that we dried out, and they may have a little bit of moisture on them, but they've mostly dried out. So I'm going to space them on here, and then we're going to plant them. And the optimum spacing to get your highest yield of potatoes in a French intensive style bed like this is 9 inches apart. So I use my digging tool, or hori-hori, to space them about that distance apart. And I'm just going to place them across the whole area of the bed, and then I do alternate spacing And I think I can even do one here. Yeah. One there. Cover the whole area. So you can see how I do it alternately, so each one has the most possible root area. Okay, that looks good. Now they each get dug into the soil, and here you have some choices. If you're going to be piling a lot of mulch on it, you can actually plant them right on the surface. I like to plant them into the soil just because it helps them get enough moisture, and they also get contact with those nutrients more quickly. So I'm going to dig down. I get them in about 4 to 6, maybe 6. Let's see. So here's my about 6 inches is what I'm going to aim for. Down in there, and then bury them. And the soil is so nice that I can just dig down to that depth very easily. Go. So for just a few minutes of work, we buried those beautiful starts of the potatoes into the bed. And to ensure them good growth and also make sure that they maintain an acidic soil, we're going to top off the soil with a thick layer of mulch. So it can either be a small wood chip, but my favorite, and I have some, are some pine needles. And we're going to put about 3 up to 6 inches of pine needles on here. The cool thing about the pine needles and the mulch is as the potatoes sprout and grow, their tubers actually form above the surface of where the potato tuber was planted. So by bringing up the layer of the soil with lots of mulch, that gives it more area for the new little potato tubers to actually grow. And then when it comes time to harvest them, it's really easy to get those potatoes out.
So these are actually cedar
Yeah, I think so.
needles.
It's either cedar or redwood. But
Redwood needles, yeah.
Yeah, it's an evergreen. But that'll be good. You wouldn't ever want to use an evergreen needle, either pine, redwood, or cedar, when you're planting seeds, but for potatoes it's fine. So looking at our potatoes, we've still got another bit left still to plant. So we did about 25 square feet here, probably another 15 or so square feet. I'll look for another spot in the garden to put those. Yeah, and I think these are some of the purple Viking potatoes just coming up. These were planted 3 or 4 weeks ago, and you can see how they're just starting to emerge through the chips, or in this case, the same sort of leafy mulch that I'd put down on the new bed. And they're looking really good, just really fresh, coming up. And these were about, I'm thinking, less than a month ago, or as much as a month ago, around there, that these were planted. And they're looking really good. So here is what the potatoes look like as they start to grow. These were planted 2 months ago, and the ground was colder then, so it took them a while to get to this size. The ones that are planted now in warmer soil will probably get to this stage in about a month rather than 2 months. But you can see each of the plants now is getting quite lush, putting on a lot of foliage. All of that energy, the carbohydrates from the sunshine, is being fixed and stored in the roots of the plants. And as they grow, I continue to top off with additional mulch, but never to the point where I cover up the majority of the leaves.